My parents used my credit card to fund my sister's $15,000 Europe trips, so I canceled everything and went no contact without regret. I'm Alex, 28M, and I have a younger sister, Emma, 22F, who just graduated from college. Our parents have always been, let's just say, unique in their approach to parenting, but this latest stunt, it pushed me past my limit. To give you some background, I've always been the responsible one in the family. I worked hard in school, earned scholarships, and landed a solid job in finance right after graduation. Since I was 22, I've been financially independent, and I'm proud of that. Emma, on the other hand, has always been the baby of the family. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister, but there's no denying she's been coddled. Growing up, it was obvious she was the favorite. She got the trendiest clothes, the newest gadgets, and was never expected to get a part-time job or help with chores. I tried not to let it get to me and focused instead on my goals and future. But sometimes the favoritism was hard to ignore. I still remember one moment clearly. I was 16. Emma was 10. I'd been saving for months to buy myself a new gaming console. When I finally had enough money, I told my parents I was heading to the store. That's when they casually said, "Oh, we already bought one for Emma last week. You can just share hers." I was crushed. I tried to hide my disappointment and be happy for her, but it stung. Fast forward to Noema just graduated with a degree in communications. I'm genuinely proud of her. She worked hard and earned this. To celebrate, I even gifted her a laptop she'd been eyeing for months. Then, just last week, I got a call from my mom. She sounded thrilled, telling me how they'd planned the perfect graduation gift for Emma, month-long tours across Europe. I thought, wow, that's incredibly generous. But then came the part that floored me. "We used your credit card to book it all," she said, like it was no big deal. "We'll pay you back." Of course, but we needed the points from your card to upgrade the flights and hotels. I was stunned. I could barely process what she'd just said. Once I found my voice, I asked, "How much did you spend?" Her answer hit me like a truck. $15,000. $15,000. Charged to my credit card without asking me. "Mom," I said, trying to stay calm, "you can't just use my credit card without permission. That's illegal. And $15,000 is a lot of money." She brushed it off. "Oh, don't be so dramatic, Alex. It's for your sister's graduation. We're family helps each other. And don't worry, we'll pay you back eventually." Eventually. What did that even mean? $15,000 becomes something you could just be casual about. I tried to explain to her why this was serious. It's a hit to my credit score. The risk of maxing out my limit. Oh, the massive breach of trust. But she wasn't hearing any of it. "You've always been so selfish," she snapped. "Can't you just be happy for your sister? This is her big moment, and you're ruining it with your penny-pinching nonsense." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was being called selfish for being upset about an unauthorized $15,000 charge on my credit card. I ended the call feeling a mix of rage, confusion, and betrayal. In the days that followed, I tried reasoning with my dad, hoping he'd see my side, but nope, he backed my mom completely. He told me I was overreacting and that I should be more supportive of Emma. Emma, meanwhile, seemed completely oblivious. When I tried to bring it up, she just squealed about how excited she was for the trip and thanked me for contributing. To her graduation present, I felt like I was losing my mind. Was I seriously the one being painted as the bad guy? I finally called the credit card company to dispute the charges. That's when I found out something even worse. My parents had used the emergency card info I'd given them years ago to book the trip online. Since I'd willingly shared it back then, the company said it didn't qualify as fraud. Now, I'm stuck with a $15,000 bill, a maxed-out credit card, and a family that thinks I'm the selfish one for not wanting to bankroll my sister's luxury vacation. I feel hurt, furious, and completely betrayed by the very people who were supposed to love and protect me. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to cancel the entire trip, but I know that would blow up into a huge family conflict. Another part of me thinks maybe I should just pay it off to avoid all the drama. But $15,000 is a lot of money, and it's not just about the money, the principle. I'm also scared that if I let this go, it'll open the door to more financial abuse in the future. Am I overreacting? Should I just suck it up and pay for my sister's trip? Or should I stand my ground, even if it means possibly destroying my relationship with my family? I'm lost. I really need advice. Thank you all for the supportive comments and advice. Honestly, I was stunned by the overwhelming response to my post. Reading through your replies helped me realize that I'm not crazy for feeling violated and angry about what happened. Taking your advice, I decided to act first. I called my credit card company again and escalated the situation. I explained everything in detail, emphasizing that while my parents had my card details for emergencies, I never authorized this specific use. After some back and forth, they finally agreed to investigate the charges as potential fraud. Next, I sent a group text to my parents and Emma asking for a family Zoom call. I wanted to give them one last chance to make things right before going down a more serious path. The call was tense, to say the least. I started by calmly explaining why what they did was not okay, the legal consequences, the breach of trust, the financial pressure it put on me. I told them I had reported the charges as unauthorized and that they needed to cancel the trip immediately. Their response wasn't what I hoped for. They were defensive, angry, even accusing me of being dramatic and trying to ruin Emma's graduation celebration. My mom even said, "We raised you, clothed you, and put a roof over your head. The least you could do is help give your sister the trip of a lifetime." I took a deep breath and replied, "You chose to have children. Taking care of us was your responsibility as parents. That doesn't give you the right to commit credit card fraud in my name." Emma, who had been quiet until then, suddenly burst into tears. "I can't believe you're ruining my graduation gift," she sobbed. "You've always been jealous of me. Why can't you just be happy for me for once?" Her words cut deep, but they also confirmed what I'd been feeling all along. This pattern of entitlement and favoritism was deeply rooted, and it was time for boundaries. "Emma," I said, trying to keep my tone steady but firm, "I am happy for you. I'm proud of you for graduating. But this trip was booked using my money without my permission. That's not a gift from my end. It's not okay." My dad, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke. "Son, we didn't think it was a big deal. We've always had access to your card for emergencies. We just figured as a family it would be fine just this once." I was floored. "Dad, $15,000 is not a small amount. And this was not an emergency. You can't just decide to spend that much of my money without even telling me." The call ended with my parents furious, Emma crying, and me completely drained but resolute. They refused to cancel the trip. They insisted I was being petty and promised they'd pay me back soon. After the call, I took the next step. I reached out to a lawyer friend and explained the situation. He confirmed that what my parents did was, in fact, illegal. I had every right to take legal action if I chose to. I also went to the police station and filed a report. The officer I spoke with was understanding and took down all the details. He warned me that pressing charges could seriously damage my relationship with my family, but reassured me that I was fully within my legal rights. Now I'm torn. I love my family. The thought of taking legal action against them makes me sick, but their behavior is beyond unacceptable, and I'm terrified that if I don't take a strong stand now, they'll just keep happening. For now, I've decided to let the credit card company's investigation run its course. I've also frozen my credit to be safe and prevent any further unauthorized charges. But this whole nightmare has opened my eyes. I need to set firmer boundaries with my family. I've always played the peacekeeper, trying to keep everyone happy and avoid conflict. In the process, I've let myself be walked over again and again. Yes, I'm hurt and angry, but I also feel something I haven't felt in a long time, a strange sense of empowerment. For the first time, I'm standing up for myself and saying, "No, this is not okay. It's uncomfortable, it's scary, but it feels necessary." Thank you all again for the incredible support and thoughtful advice. I'll post another update when I hear more from the credit card company, or if anything else develops with my family. It's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and a lot has happened. First, thank you again to everyone who supported me. Your comments gave me strength through one of the most emotionally exhausting times of my life. Now for the good news. The credit card investigation ruled in my favor. The company agreed that the charges were unauthorized and reversed them. That $15,000 weight has finally been lifted off my shoulders. Now, the not-so-good part, the family fallout. When my parents and Emma found out the trip had been canceled due to the chargeback, all hell broke loose. My phone was blowing up with furious texts and voicemails. My mom left a particularly cruel message, calling me a selfish and ungrateful son who had ruined Emma's life. Emma. She posted a tearful video on social media talking about how her cruel brother destroyed her dream graduation trip. A handful of mutual friends and even some extended family members started messaging me, asking why I was being so mean. To my little sister, it was spiraling out of control. So, I decided to set the record straight. I wrote a calm, factual post explaining exactly what happened, how my card was used without my permission, and how I had tried to resolve the matter with my family before resorting to the credit card company. The responses were mixed. Some people were supportive and shocked at what my parents did. Others still believed I should have taken one for the team and let Emma have her vacation. It was eye-opening, frankly disturbing to see how many people thought it was perfectly fine to commit fraud as long as it was done for. Family. A few days later, I got a call from my aunt, my mom's sister. She surprised me with her compassion. She said she understood exactly how I felt and shared some things I hadn't known. Apparently, my mom has a long history of financial irresponsibility and has taken advantage of other family members in the past. My aunt encouraged me to keep standing my ground and told me she had my back. That conversation changed everything. It made me realize this wasn't a one-time incident. It was a pattern, one that had been tolerated and enabled for far too long. That's when I made the biggest decision yet. I told my parents I would be going no contact for the foreseeable future. I explained that I needed time and space to process everything, and that I simply couldn't trust them right now. I also reached out to Emma. I told her I loved her and was proud of her accomplishments, but I needed space from her as well. As expected, they didn't take it well. My parents accused me of tearing the family apart. Emma cried and said I was punishing her for something that wasn't her fault. It hurt, but I stood firm. Amid all the chaos, I've been taking steps to protect myself. I changed all my passwords, closed the credit card my parents had access to, and opened a new one through a different bank. I also started therapy. I needed help processing the emotional toll and learning how to build healthy boundaries moving forward. Surprisingly, one of the few silver linings in all this has been reconnecting with my aunt and even a couple of cousins who reached out in support. It's comforting to know that not everyone in my family thinks what my parents did was okay. As for Emma's graduation trip, I heard through the grapevine that my parents are still trying to send her somewhere. Part of me feels a twinge of guilt that she missed out on the Europe vacation, but I remind myself over and over that it was never my responsibility to give her that. I'm still wrestling with guilt and doubt. There are moments when I wonder if I went too far, if I was too harsh, but then I think back to how I felt when I first discovered the unauthorized charges, the sheer violation, the anger, the hurt. And I know I made the right decision. This whole experience has been a brutal wake-up call, but also a powerful lesson in self-respect, boundaries, and the need to protect yourself, even from the people who are supposed to love you most. Lately, I found myself excluded from things I used to be part of: birthdays, holidays, casual get-togethers that once felt like home now feel distant. Still, in those quiet, lonely moments, I remind myself why I made this choice. Saying no even to family was necessary, and learning that real love doesn't come with a price tag has been one of the hardest, but most important, lessons of my life. Thank you all again for your unwavering support. I'll continue to update if there are any significant changes, but for now, I'm focused on healing and moving forward. It's been about 2 months since my last update, and I wanted to share some new developments with you all. Your continued support and encouragement have meant more to me than I can express. SIT's helped me stay grounded through a whirlwind of emotions and decisions. First, the legal front. After long discussions with my lawyer and a lot of soul-searching, I decided not to press criminal charges against my parents. This wasn't an easy choice. Many of you encouraged me to pursue legal action, and I seriously considered it. But my lawyer explained that, since the credit card company had already reversed the charges, launching a criminal case would be both complicated and potentially expensive, with no guarantee of a successful outcome. Instead, we took a different step. My lawyer drafted a formal cease and desist letter, which we sent to my parents. The letter clearly stated that any future attempt to use my personal or financial information would result in immediate legal action. It was a boundary I needed to draw in writing to protect myself. Now, on to the family side of things. The no-contact period with my parents and Emma has been difficult, but also deeply enlightening. It's given me time to step back and really reflect on the dynamics within our family, and more importantly, on myself. I've been in therapy consistently since all this began, and it's been a huge help in navigating my emotions and learning how to establish healthier boundaries. About a month into no contact, I got an unexpected email from Emma, and unlike the tearful, guilt-laden messages she'd posted before, this one was different, more thoughtful, more mature. She said she'd spent a lot of time thinking about everything and had come to realize just how wrong our parents' actions were. She apologized, not just for her reaction, but for failing to stand up for me when it mattered. Emma admitted she'd always been aware of the favoritism, but was too comfortable and too afraid to challenge it. I appreciated her honesty. I was cautiously optimistic and decided to take it slow. We've had a few phone calls since then, and for the first time, I feel like she's genuinely trying to understand my perspective. She even shared her own experiences with our parents' financial recklessness, things she'd never told me before. It turns out the canceled Europe trip had been a wake-up call for her, too. As for my parents, not much progress there. They've made multiple attempts to reach out, some angry, some manipulative, guilt-tripping voicemails, passive-aggressive emails, even a dramatic, unannounced visit to my apartment by my mom, where she caused a scene in the hallway. I didn't engage. I stayed calm, refused to open the door, and followed up by reinforcing the boundaries I'd already set. The response from extended family has been a mixed bag. My aunt, the one who originally reached out, continues to be incredibly supportive. She's become a trusted ally and someone I can finally talk to openly. Some cousins have also been kind. Others, though, still cling to the "but they're your parents" narrative. I've had to distance myself from a few of them for the sake of my mental health. There have been some positives to come from all of this. With the emotional space I've gained, I've been able to redirect my energy back into my own life. I started a new hobby, photography, something I'd always wanted to do but never had time for. I've reconnected with friends who actually respect my boundaries. I've started making more intentional financial moves, increasing contributions to my retirement funds, building out a stronger emergency savings plan, and implementing tighter security measures on all my financial accounts. One especially satisfying moment came just last week. I got promoted at work with a solid pay raise. In the past, I might have felt obligated to share the news and the financial benefits with my family. Not this time. I celebrated quietly with a few close friends. I felt proud, not guilty. As for Emma's graduation trip, I heard through my aunt that my parents eventually sent her on a 2-week tour of California. Apparently, she enjoyed it. And honestly, that's fine. I'm not bitter. I just know it wasn't my responsibility to make it happen. Looking forward, I'm cautiously optimistic. I've decided to extend no contact with my parents for at least another 3 months. I need more time to heal and to see if they're ever going to truly respect my boundaries. With Emma, I'm open to slowly rebuilding our relationship, but I'm moving carefully. I'm no longer ignoring red flags or brushing things off in the name of family. I've learned my lesson. This whole ordeal has taught me a lot about limits, self-respect, and the real meaning of family. It's not just about blood. It's about mutual respect, accountability, and love that doesn't come with strings attached. The friends and relatives who stood by me through this experience, they've shown me what true family looks like. And the biggest lesson, financial independence is emotional independence. I've always been good with money, but this taught me to be vigilant. My accounts are locked down. My trust is guarded. And my boundaries are stronger than ever. There are still moments of sadness, especially during family events I used to attend. But when I look at how far I've come, how much peace I've found in protecting myself, I know I made the right decision. I'm healing and I'm not looking back. For years, I was treated like a safety net, someone they could quietly lean on whenever things got desperate. When Emma's graduation came around, my mom, overwhelmed and desperate to give her the celebration she deserved, crossed the line. She convinced herself I wouldn't mind, that I'd eventually understand. But not this time. Hearing all of this was shocking, but it also put things in perspective. It didn't excuse what they did not even close, but it helped me understand the mindset behind their actions. I was still angry, still hurt, but at least I had answers. During the session, I calmly reiterated that what they did was not just a family mistake, it was a serious violation of trust and a form of financial abuse. The therapist supported me in this, helping guide the conversation toward accountability. My parents didn't offer a full apology, but they did acknowledge for the first time that they crossed a line. It wasn't everything I needed, but it was something. Since then, contact has been limited and cautious. We agreed to check in once a month via email, with the option to schedule another therapy session if needed. I'm not rushing anything. Rebuilding trust takes time, and right now, I'm still very protective of my peace. As for Emma, our relationship has grown steadily. She's been more understanding, more self-aware, and more supportive than I ever imagined she could be. We've had several honest conversations about our upbringing, and she's even started therapy herself. It feels like, for the first time, we're seeing each other as individuals, not just siblings caught in a dysfunctional family dynamic. She recently visited me for a weekend, and it went well. We laughed, cooked together, and even talked about our shared memories with a kind of bittersweet clarity. She told me she admired how I stood up for myself and how I'm choosing to live life on my own terms. That meant a lot. On the personal front, things are continuing to evolve in exciting ways. The person I started dating a few months ago has become a bigger part of my life. They've been patient, kind, and endlessly supportive. Being with someone who genuinely respects my boundaries and values my growth has been healing in ways I didn't expect. For the first time in a long time, I feel emotionally safe with someone. As I prepare to move to a new city and begin my master's program, I'm filled with both nervousness and hope. It's a big leap quitting my job, starting fresh, embracing the unknown, but it's a leap I'm proud to take. The emotional toll of the past year has been heavy, but it's also forged something stronger in me. I've learned how to say no. I've learned that love should never come with conditions or manipulation. And I've learned that boundaries aren't walls, they're the foundations of self-respect. To everyone reading this who may be dealing with their own version of family conflict, financial betrayal, or emotional manipulation, I see you. It's hard, it's messy, but it is possible to come out stronger. You don't owe anyone your silence, your savings, or your sense of self, not even your parents. Especially not your parents. Thank you again to every person who took the time to comment, message, or just quietly follow my story. Your support helped me take the first steps when I didn't know how to stand up for myself. Here's to new beginnings, personal growth, and finally living life for myself. I'll keep you posted if anything major changes, but for now, I'm focused on the road ahead, grounded in clarity, peace, and purpose. Looking back, I realized now using my credit card wasn't just about money. It was about keeping up appearances while everything around them was quietly falling apart. And I refused to carry the weight of that anymore. That revelation led to a lot of tears and blame. My mom felt betrayed by my dad's secrecy. My dad felt ashamed of the financial mess he'd made. But for the first time, truly seemed to grasp the seriousness of what they'd done to me. While that explanation didn't excuse their actions, it helped me better understand the desperation behind their choices. The therapist guided us through the conversation with patience and firmness, helping us unpack the deeper issues at play. For the first time, I heard real apologies from both of my parents. We've agreed to continue family therapy sessions once a month. It's a slow, fragile process, and I'm still keeping firm boundaries. But for the first time in years, I feel cautiously hopeful that maybe, just maybe, we can rebuild something healthier. Emma has continued to grow in impressive ways. She's taken real steps toward financial independence. She got a full-time job and moved into her own apartment. We've been talking regularly, and for the first time, I feel like I'm getting to know my sister, not as the spoiled baby of the family, but as an adult with thoughts, goals, and empathy. She's even asked for my help with budgeting and saving, something I never thought I'd hear from her. On the personal side, the relationship I mentioned in my last update has blossomed into something really special. Sarah has been incredibly supportive of my decision to return to school, even though it means we'll be doing long distance for a while. She's dealt with family boundary issues herself, so her support has been both emotionally grounding and deeply validating. Financially, I'm in a solid place. The promotion I earned has allowed me to build up substantial savings for my move and help offset some of the costs of grad school. I've also become much more assertive when it comes to protecting my finances. Just recently, a distant relative tried to guilt me into co-signing a loan, and I shut it down immediately. It wasn't easy, but it felt incredibly good to enforce that boundary as I prepare for this next chapter, packing my apartment, finalizing school paperwork. I find myself thinking back to the moment this all started. That one shocking phone call from my mom about the $15,000 credit card charge. The chaos, the betrayal, the hurt, those feelings have mostly faded now, replaced by something far more powerful. Empowerment and self-assurance I never knew I had. I've learned so much through this experience. I've learned the value of setting boundaries and the importance of maintaining them, even with family. Especially with family, I've learned that it's not selfish to prioritize your own well-being, your future, and your peace. And I've learned that real family, whether they're connected by blood or chosen, along the way supports your growth and respects your limits. To everyone who followed my journey and offered support, advice, and encouragement, thank you. Truly, your words have been a lifeline during some of the hardest, most transformative months of my life. And to anyone out they're facing family betrayal, boundary violations, or emotional manipulation, please know there is light on the other side. It's hard, it hurts, but it's worth it. You have every right to protect your space, your finances, and your mental health. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As I step into this new chapter, new city, new school, new beginnings, I do so with a sense of pride and clarity I've never known before. I may not update again for a while, as I'll be busy getting settled and adjusting to this next phase. But I'll always carry with me the lessons I've learned, then the support I received here. Here's to fresh starts, hard-earned wisdom, and the courage to build a life we truly deserve.